So, I'm not making this video to talk about a dream, even though I did have a very weird dream last night that I don't remember very well. But I do remember having seen this very bizarre kind of like underwater cave that looked like it was made out of rock, but it was in the shape of gears. It like they looked like overlapping gears, like that you would see in a clock or a machine, and they would grind up next to each other. And there was water in this cave, and these gears they kept moving like naturally and flowing with this water in these concentric circles. And I was with a few members of my family, and this place looked like it was therapeutic or had some kind of quality about it that people went there for therapy reasons or for relaxation. But it was very strange because you're sitting in this like pool, like this spa, like sauna thing, and you have these moving gear like rock structures moving all around you. And they look completely natural too. So over here in this reality, we would perceive that as being man made because that's obvious to us. But for some reason, in this particular space, in this reality, I got the sense that these were natural formations. And whatever life a fractal of me was living there knew this and understood this. But having said that, I decided that over the next few videos, I'm going to tell you guys about other experiences, lesser known paranormal experiences that I've had that I haven't shared very much, not only with public, like on ND radio and stuff like that, not only with my friends, but things that I just haven't really shared all that much, period. And there have been plenty of things that have occurred, ranging anywhere from UFO sightings to ghosts to poltergeists to bizarre, anomalous things. And that's the bizarre stuff is what I'm going to get into first because if somebody watches this, I want your opinion as to what it was because I still to this day have no explanation, but it's related to sleep paralysis. So I had two of these incidences that I could recall. One of them being, I would say 10, 12 years ago. I was in my living room and I was taking a nap. It was probably like 6 in the evening after work or something like that. And I was on the couch and I had the light on in the kitchen. And I was laying there and I had the blanket over my body and I was kind of stomach up facing the ceiling on a couch in my living room. And we had this big stereo system and television to the right, to the left, I'm sorry. And so I went into a state of I woke up from this nap and I went into a state of sleep paralysis. And as I awoke, um, kind of partially awake, like I couldn't move. For those of you who don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's like when you wake up and you're conscious, but you're unable to move your body, and you're just kind of stiff in this like paralysis like state where you can't move any direction, but you're fully conscious and aware. So that's kind of where I was. And I noticed the radio blasting loudly. It was on at what felt like a very, very high volume, but what was playing was not music. I heard some kind of transmission or message take place through this radio, and it sounded like this robotic kind of android like voice that was speaking in what seemed like English in an extremely fast tone, like I know that sounds retarded, but I don't know how else to explain it. And it was very loud and it was like just blasting in my ear this transmission, this message that I was supposed to be receiving, but I didn't understand what it meant. But not only that, I noticed that this very powerful, massive sense of like electromagnetic energy like pulsating throughout my entire body. And there was also a physical phenomena that took place, and that my blanket was like physically being lifted off of my body. It was actually lifting upwards. And I started freaking the hell out after that happened. I just kind of really I just started screaming quietly because I couldn't move, and I really tried to snap out of it at that point. And as I did, the blanket just dropped back down, and I awoke and I came to. And one interesting thing to note about this incident was that me and my brother have actually seen a couple of UFOs, or what at least look like UFOs, over the last few nights in that area. And actually, it wasn't just us. There were people have been sighting them over the last few days during that time. Not necessarily saying that that was related, but it was really peculiar and creepy. And I don't have an explanation for it. But it happened again, a very similar incident many years later. I would say this happened probably 4 years ago. Probably 4 years ago. And this time I received a similar kind of transmission, but I actually understood at least a little bit of what was being said. So, same idea. I was taking a nap, except this time it was broad daylight. I remember clearly that day I had to go to jury duty, and I wasn't chosen for jury duty, so I just went back home. I just laid on my bed and just kind of started drifting off into sleep until I felt that sleep paralysis again, and I couldn't move and I was frozen. And this time I noticed something come into my room, and it was an orb. It was an object. It was a transparent object that came in. It had no form. It just looked like a circular object. It was hovering maybe 2 feet above my bed, and it was transmitting the same exact type of message, robotic voice, like chattering robotic voice, like that you would hear like in some kind of 1950s sci-fi crappy movie. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It was just bizarre. Um, and it kept saying something, and I kept making out a couple of words. It kept saying something about God. It said, your relationship with God, this God, and don't forget about God, blah, 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 God, blah, 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 God. Like I heard the word God like a million times. And I just kept saying that over and over. And I came to, I snapped out of it. I was actually starting to exit my body at this point, partially. But then I was like, no, this is freaking weird as hell. I don't want any more of this. Let's go back. And I did. I snapped back. And I came to. And the third type of kind of similar experience I had was kind of in a way even more profound, in that I had actually a vision, or I actually saw something as clear as day in my mind's eye, not like literally, well, literally and not literally. This one happened about 3 years ago, where this was late at night. This was around probably 3 in the morning. And I woke up and I came to, and again, I was under a state of sleep paralysis. And I started seeing a vision, a mental image in my head of a being that was like an extraterrestrial looking of some kind. He had lime green skin, rainbow colored eyes. And when I mean rainbow colored eyes, I'm saying that his um, irises were multicolored, in that they were like green, yellow, blue, red, and that they were kind of in a pie pattern around his eyes. And his skin as well, it kind of reminded me of a chameleon. and that he had like these electric looking type patterns on his skin. Like this guy looked like an X-Men. It was really strange. I mean, very human looking face. Other than that, he had a bald head. He had no hair at all whatsoever. He was wearing this sort of black suit, and he appeared very, very, very tall. But it wasn't the appearance that really got to me. It was just his eyes. The only way I could describe it is if you see someone that has an IQ of 2,000 points. Imagine looking at a person that is so evolved, so beyond your comprehension that you feel like an ant in this being's presence. That is exactly what it felt like. I felt like he was reading the totality of my entire eternal existence in that moment we made eye contact. He was scanning me and understanding everything I ever was and ever will be. Was this I don't know, but and he kept kind of popping into my head as I was under this paralysis, and didn't say anything, just stared at me. And then as he kind of exited my mind's eye, he kind of just faded away, and then I saw a physical phenomenon appear in my room. Um, and it was like it's so hard to describe. It was like a hypercube. It was like a multi-dimensional hypercube type of a dimensional thing, and it was blue in color, and it appeared like in front of me, several feet in front of me, and it was like this prism, and it kept oscillating, and it just sort of faded out. Um, yeah, yeah, I know it's a lot. You guys are probably wondering what the hell my problem is. Having been through all this crap, I don't know. I don't know what it all means. Do I think it's some kind of mental illness or anything like that? Absolutely not. I think this is all for a reason, including the owl sightings, including all of that. And I understand how insane it sounds and how far fetched it sounds. And that's completely irrelevant to me because it happened and that's all there is to it. And I'm just trying to figure out my bizarre life and why these things have happened and they continue to happen with the owl sightings and with the bizarre dreams and the out of body experiences. It's like I'm in some sort of, I don't know. That's why I'm making this video. Maybe you guys know.